Premier, you want to start out with just giving us your thoughts as this situation hits our province?
Yeah, I mean, look, the predictions were for a massive storm, historic storm. We certainly have seen that. Fiona definitely left a mark on the province. The damage is pretty heartbreaking. But you know, what I would say is it's a testament to Nova Scotians and their preparedness. That what we've seen we haven't had any reports of loss of life. I'm really thankful for that. We haven't really had too many reports of serious injuries. I'm really thankful for that. So, and I think that's a testament to the preparedness of Nova Scotians. But the damage is extensive. This is going to take the cleanup effort will take time. It's going to take patience. Getting power back is the number one priority right now. We've had serious issues with the communications network. So, just getting roads cleared, giving space to the crews to do what needs to be done. That's the most important thing right now. It will take time.
Speaking of power, is it true that some crews from Maine were stopped at the border because of the ArriveCAN app and were able to intervene?
Yeah, we actually heard that there was an issue, and we have right now. I mean, the support from the neighbouring provinces. We have crews from New Brunswick, from Quebec, from Ontario. Just a lot of support. We feel that support. It means so much to us, and also crews from Maine as well. So I do know that there was a situation where some crews from Maine had an issue at the border. At least once we became aware of that, we alerted the federal government. My understanding is that was dealt with pretty quickly, but there was an issue to begin with.
What kind of aid might happen, especially for the people on income assist who've lost things in their fridge and that's a housing compromise?
Yeah, safe shelter is a number one priority, and I know Minister Lohr's group with the EMO team and municipal affairs have been working on that a lot. He can probably comment more, but we're certainly making sure that people have safe shelter is a real concern, because we know that there's a lot of people who are without right now. Our local MLA here, John White's telling me he knows of dozens of families right now that don't have any place to go. So we're concerned about that. We'll do everything we can to support them.
What shocked you the most about what you've seen so far? I saw you in front of that massive uprooted tree, and just the devastation as you drove through the province.
Just the magnitude of the devastation. I mean, the amount of trees down, across roads, across power lines, and just the breadth of the storm. It's certainly the damage here in Cape Breton, very significant. In other areas, not quite as significant, but still damaged. The storm impacted the entirety of the province and neighboring provinces. So, just driving around and seeing the damage is it's really difficult to see, actually.
Do you know how many farmers people are coming and when?
Well, I do want to thank the federal government. They've been so supportive. I've spoke to the Prime Minister. My colleagues have spoke to a number of their counterparts. I've heard from a number of federal ministers. So they're there to support financially and with people. I mean, just the effort that's required to move the trees, to move the brush. It's a huge undertaking. I think in Dorian there was somewhere around 1,000 military personnel that came and supported Nova Scotians. We're hopeful that we'll be at least in that range this time. It just speeds things up so much, and we need it. We have to get power back to people. Well, there's already some deployments happening now. I know that even in the local area here, there's been some members of the military doing like initial surveillance to come up with the plan and stuff. So it's immediate, I would say. They've been very, very responsive, and I'm thankful for that.
Premier, climate change is a factor in this. Can you comment on that, please?
We know that the climate is changing for sure. We're seeing, you look around the world, you're seeing fires, storms. Certainly this is a historic storm for this province. There's no question about that. The damage is significant. But right now, the priority right now is getting power back to people, getting people a safe shelter, getting, some return to normal. That will take time. When we come out of this, we'll look at a number of factors, particularly around the communications aspect. It was very, very difficult to communicate with people yesterday. That caused a lot of, it slowed things down for sure. So we'll look at issues around that. But there's right now our effort and our hearts are with supporting those who need the support, and there's a lot of them.
Do you have an idea how much this will cost?
No, it's too early to say, but this is the financial cost will be significant because the damage is significant. But we've talked to the federal government about the aid program. They'll be there to support us on that. But all of these things, we'll figure that stuff out today. We need to get power to people. We need to make sure people are safe, and that's the focus. But the federal government has been unwavering in their support financially and with military personnel.
And how about movement? Was it quick step left?
Personally, I'm in Pictou County, so certainly, in the grand scheme of things, compared to what some people experienced, it's not much. But certainly superficial damage, water leaks, trees down. I mean, just driving in Pictou County yesterday, I mean, it's hard to look down a street and not see one that's impassable from trees. So, and that's the situation in many parts of the province. So the damage is extensive. The cleanup will take time. Just urging Nova Scotians to be patient. But look, when you see the community support, the support for that's really the Nova Scotian way. That's the Blue Noser way, and that is shining through in spades today. Okay, everybody good? On Minister of Law, EMO, or Public Works, or everybody good?
We're looking at, because of the state of emergency that's in for both CBR and Victoria County, how quickly we'll be able to secure any sort of funding or cleanup efforts.
So, yes, I mean, there's been 2 local state of emergencies declared, Victoria County and CBRM, and I see Mayor Amanda McDougall here too. Maybe she can speak to that specifically, but we gave the federal government a heads up notice prior to the event that we would be looking probably for, if it turned out as expected, which it has, a very major storm, that we'd be asking for disaster financial assistance, and we were speaking to the federal government prior to the event too about possible military assistance if required, and we've done that too now, and they're on the ground now, and initial assessment team on the ground. So we're very appreciative of that. But in terms of how long things will take, it remains to be seen. We're still in the assessment phase. Clearly, there's an immense amount of work that needs to be done to bring everything back to whole. Pardon me?
Are you looking at bringing in provinces like Quebec and Ontario for their
we understand hydro crews. We've got a number of hydro crews on tap, and you'd have to ask Nova Scotia Power if there are more needed. I've heard that there's a substantial number of them on their way now. So,
Minister, again, back to climate change. Do you see this event as linked to climate change, and do you foresee more events like this linked to climate change?
We do know that this has set a record for a barometric pressure low for Canada, like an all-time record, this storm. So, I mean, yeah, clearly we see this related to climate change. But I mean, how we look at our infrastructure and how we make that better, I mean, clearly the major impact is electricity. How do we do better with that? And I know hats off to the linemen who are out there doing repairs, but I mean, that it's hard to say right now. I mean, that's something we'll have to evaluate. You want Amanda? You want the mayor?
Yes, we do.
You do want the mayor.
Sorry. Hello. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Good to see you. Yeah, good to see you. Hope everything went good.
Lots of hugs. How are you doing, folks?
Well, Mayor, the state of emergency is continuing for your community.
It absolutely is. So we got together virtually yesterday morning. It's hard to kind of figure out what day was what in the last 48 hours, but that stays in place for 7 days. Now, as we proceed, as we get to understand truly the depth of the damage in our communities, we'll be able to revisit that. Right now, the importance of that local state of emergency is that we're trying to keep people away from dangerous situations, away from the areas that are really, really precarious. We need to make sure there's priority given to our lines folks, anybody who's in there doing some tree and brush and debris removal, first and foremost, and we don't want people getting hurt. So even taking a drive through Glace Bay in the hub area, we've got lines that are down and they're active, and we don't want people driving into them. We don't want people walking into them. The winds can pick up again. We know that there's going to be a bit of rain coming in, so this local state of emergency is very, very important to adhere to right now.
Can you talk about, like, we're encountering lots of people with no roofs?
Yeah.
People are actually homeless. what can you offer them at this time?
Absolutely. So initially, the night before or the Friday evening of the storm, I should say, people were being directed to Center 200. So we did have, in partnership with the Red Cross, cots set up and emergency shelter set up. Since then, power has been lost to Center 200 and the backup generator system failed. And so we quickly went into a mode of working with our community stakeholders at the Coast Guard College and also at Member 2 Trading Convention Center. So we have two medium to long-term shelters set up right now. We are also in the talks, or in conversations with the Salvation Army. They're going to be bringing in community food trucks. So right now I'm hearing from a lot of people that, you know what, my supplies are getting low. We're kind of creeping up to that 72-hour mark. What are we going to do? Because we know most of our stores here, they don't have power. We don't have access to replenishing any of those supplies. So Salvation Army's partnering with the United Way here to identify where the worst hit areas are and create that schedule of community food trucks to offer those nourishing meals.
What's the number of people that have been displaced at the moment?
It is over 200. So over 200 people have been displaced from their housing. There could be numerous people living in one apartment that have been displaced. I know one apartment building was well over 100 people that had to be evacuated. So we're not talking about small numbers of people. And unfortunately, as this progresses, we're going to see that number increase. As people get in, insurance folks, what have you, to really kind of dig in and see what the damage is to those buildings that still are in a precarious situation, there are going to be places that are deemed a necessity of evacuation, sorry.
And is the Red Cross still going to be further involved in this?
100%, yeah. And we've had great partnership with the province, our federal employees, our federal counterparts. This has been an all-hands-on-deck situation. From the second we heard about this storm, it's been constant outreach. Every single one of our community leaders, community organizations, this is everybody coming together. So amidst the chaos, there's a lot of beautiful things happening. Okay?